The more you explain, the weaker you appear. The more you react, the more power you surrender. The more you justify yourself, the deeper your wounds seem to others. In a universe of chaos, silence is not retreat, it's strategy. When your words are twisted, when truth becomes a weapon, when your reactions fuel their spectacle, it's no longer a dialogue, but a cosmic game. The louder you protest, the further you drift from victory. Here's the revelation you need to grasp. You don't need to resist, shout to be heard, or explain to prove your worth. All you need is silence and time. When you grow still, the universe begins to speak. Truth, like gravity, pulls everything toward its center. In this video, we'll explore 7 moments where a wise man chooses silence, not out of fear, but from strength to preserve his energy, uphold his dignity, and let the consequences of others' actions orbit back to them. Silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of mastery. Follow me to the end of this journey. For the final chapter will transform how you view silence forever. Few things sting like being falsely accused. Your instinct is to defend, to correct the narrative, to prove you're not what they claim. But the harsh truth is, no one listens when you plead. The more you explain, the more suspect you seem, the more you seek clarity, the deeper you're pulled into their chaos. Those who spread lies don't seek truth. They crave your reaction. They want to unsettle you, to see you falter, to turn your defense into their ammunition. Here's the trap: react, and you've lost. This is where Stoicism draws the line. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it's not true, don't speak it. If it's not right, don't do it." That's it. No pleading, no justifying. You live by your integrity, not their version of your story. Truth, like a distant star, outlasts lies. Falsehoods burn bright, but fade fast. Truth takes time, but needs no defense. It reveals itself. Let me share a story. A man, call him James, was falsely accused at his observatory. Rumors spread like cosmic dust. Colleagues distanced themselves. He wanted to prove his innocence, but instead, he chose silence and focus. He kept studying the stars, letting his work speak. Weeks later, the truth emerged like a supernova. The accuser's manipulations were exposed. By staying silent, James preserved his dignity, rising above the noise, his integrity untouched. This is Stoicism's power. So, when falsely accused, what do? First, trust. The long orbit lies are loud, but truth endure. Let time do its silent work. Second, anchor yourself in your values. When you know who you are, no external noise can shake you. Third, let karma take its course. Liars spin their own chaotic orbits, and they'll soon spiral into their own traps. Finally, silence isn't surrender, it's self-respect. You're not hiding, you're rising above pettiness and lies. Let them speak, let them twist, and let truth return to its rightful place. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it shifts the ground beneath you. It comes from those you trusted: friends, partners, kin. When betrayed, it feels like your core collapses. Your instinct is to confront, to ask, why did you do this? To demand, do you see the damage? But the brutal truth is, betrayers have already justified their actions. They don't see their fault, or worse. They don't care. The more you seek closure, the more you reopen the wound. When someone betrays you, they want your energy, your pain, your confusion, your reaction. That's their power, proof of their impact. What happens when you give them nothing? No anger, no revenge, just silence. They lose not just their voice, but their hold on your spirit. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot shine without friction, nor a man be perfected without trials." Betrayal is friction, painful but clarifying, revealing who stays and who fades. Let me tell you of Sarah, an astronomer who shared her dreams and discoveries with a colleague of 10 years. But one day, she found this friend had betrayed her, leaking her research out of envy. Sarah wanted to confront, to pour out her pain, to make her feel the hurt. Instead, she chose silence, stepping away without drama. The betrayer awaited a clash, braced for chaos, but found only absence. That silence echoed louder than words, haunting her with its weight. When betrayed, first, accept the truth of who they are. Don't cling to the illusion you once held. That star has burned out. Second, don't waste words on those who mark your worth in fleeting stardust. You owe no explanation to those who choose to ignore your light. Third, step away without a word, for silence forces reflection, something betrayers avoid like a void. Finally, you are the victor. They've lost a rare, loyal soul, like yours. Let them live with that loss, not through punishment, but through your absence and the peace of your orbit. Insults are cheap currency, spent freely by the weak. When someone mocks or attacks with venomous words, they're not seeking truth. They're hunting your reaction, craving the chaos it brings. By responding, even with sharp wit, you hand them the controls of your ship. Instead, refuse their game. You don't need to win their argument. You need only avoid entering it. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." Read that again. When insulted, they want to drag you into their cosmic debris, to strip your dignity. But a wise man doesn't dwell in chaos, he observes, unmoved, like a star above the storm. Let me share a tale of David, an astronomer who earned a well-deserved promotion. At a galactic conference, a jealous colleague mocked him publicly. Now anyone can rise to the stars. It seems all eyes turned to David, awaiting his response, but he offered none, just a steady gaze, a faint smile, and silence. In that moment, he didn't just win the room, he won the war, stripping power from his foe by ignoring their jab. How do you handle insults? First, see what they're after, not truth, but disruption of your calm orbit. Don't let them succeed. Second, let your tranquility speak. A steady face and calm voice echo louder than words. Third, stand firm in your worth. Confidence needs no debate, dignity no defense. By not stooping, you leave them grasping at void. Finally, you don't need their noise, you command your own silence. True strength doesn't roar or flaunt itself. It shines quietly, like a distant star. The most powerful response to an insult is indifference. Some people don't seek peace, they crave attention, twisting narratives to play the victim. They rewrite history, erase their role, distort truth, shed tears, and cast you as the villain. The more you explain, the weaker you seem, as outsiders see you attacking a wounded soul. They flip the script, painting you as the aggressor while they play the misunderstood martyr. This isn't conflict, it's theater, and you're cast as the antagonist. Stoic wisdom warns of this trap. Epictetus said, "Complaining is always useless and never fitting." Victims don't complain to solve, they complain to win sympathy. Defending yourself only fuels their performance. The only victory is silence. Consider Rachel, an astrophysicist with a colleague who twisted truths. When held accountable, this colleague wept, deflected, and blamed others. Rachel tried reason, presenting evidence calmly, but it backfired. Emotions outshine logic in prolonged debates. So, she chose silence, standing firm like a fixed star, unswayed by the chaos. Over time, the truth shone through, and the colleague's act collapsed. How do you counter a victim's ploy? First, don't defend yourself. They're not listening, only performing. The audience loves drama. Don't feed it. Second, keep emotional distance, observing their chaos without being pulled into its orbit. Third, trust the law of cause and effect. People may believe their act once or twice, but patterns reveal the truth. Finally, you owe no clarity to those who thrive on ambiguity. Let them play their role, chase their audience, and follow their script. Their stage will empty in time. Silence is how you close the curtain. The greatest insult isn't their words, it's their indifference. You show up, give your all, care deeply, reach out, and get nothing back. No explosion, no loud betrayal. Just a slow fade of your value in their eyes, your worth in their eyes. And here's the bitter truth. The more you try to prove your value, the less they see it. People don't cherish what's always there. They value what they fear losing. By constantly reaching out, you become background noise in their universe. You're not indispensable, you're invisible. Stoicism hands you back control. Seneca said, "Time reveals the truth." And sometimes, the truth they need is your absence, like a star vanishing from their sky. Let me tell you of Jake, an astronomer always there for others, checking in, remembering milestones, asking about their days. But he noticed no one reciprocated unless he initiated. When he stopped, silence stretched into weeks. He realized he wasn't valued, just convenient. Without arguments or explanations, he simply withdrew. Those who truly cared sought him out. The rest faded like distant galaxies. That was his answer. So, when your worth is ignored, what do? First, stop chasing. If they don't see your light when you're present, let them feel its absence. Second, say nothing. Silence forces them to notice the void you leave. Third, watch who makes the effort. Those who matter don't need reminders. They'll see the shift and draw closer, not drift away. Finally, your value isn't proven by striving, but by distance. Those worthy of your energy will feel your silence. Those who aren't never belonged in your orbit. Let your absence speak, echoing through the spaces they once overlooked. Never beg to be seen by those who've closed their eyes. Some don't seek peace, they want your reaction. They provoke, taunt, and wield words they know will wound. Not from courage, but because it's their only way to feel powerful. When you react, they win. When you argue, they're fueled. When your emotions flare, they know they've steered your course. The truth many miss is that their goal isn't conflict, it's control. They aim to unsettle your mind, to make you act on their terms. If they can provoke you, they pilot your emotions from behind a false smile. But Stoicism is your shield. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." That's the essence of self-mastery. You can't stop their provocations, but you can deny them what they crave. Your reaction: consider Adam, an astrophysicist with a colleague thriving on chaos. Every meeting brought subtle jabs, sly insults, just sharp enough to sting, but too vague to confront. At first, Adam defended himself, argued, explained, but left each encounter drained. Then he shifted. When the colleague next provoked him, Adam offered only a calm smile, a nod, and silence, no glares. Not tension, just serene indifference. The colleague faltered, confused, used to sparking fire. They didn't know what to do when the flame wouldn't ignite. Their provocations died, starved of fuel, proving silence extinguishes even the fiercest storms. How do you handle provocation? First, recognize the pattern. Repetition betrays their intent. If someone constantly stirs conflict, it's not personal, it's their strategy. Second, hold your ground emotionally. Don't let their bait pull you from your center. Control your breath, your tone, your presence. Third, let calm be your strength. The less you waver, the more powerless they become. Finally, not every slight deserves your energy, nor every foe your response. The strongest man in the room isn't the loudest, but the one whose silence is armor. No provocation can pierce it, for it's not emptiness, it's resolve. Regret is loud, but silence écoloudé. When they undervalue you, ignore your worth. Assume you'll always be there. Then one day, find you gone. Your silence becomes deafening. Olivia's presence was once a constant star, vital until she left without drama or outcry, just a quiet departure. At first, her partner ignored it, but weeks turned to months of unanswered signals, echoing a void he hadn't realized he needed until it was gone. He pleaded, apologized, promised change, but Olivia had already found her peace, her silence becoming her freedom. When someone regrets losing you, first, don't let them return easily if they overlooked your worth. Your absence must shine, undeniable. Second, resist explaining. Let them bear the weight of their actions without your words to ease their guilt. Third, hold silence, not from spite, but from self-respect. They had their chance and squandered it. Let them face that truth alone. For your silence is wisdom, not punishment. You don't need to shout to be heard, fight to win, or speak to leave a mark. In a world addicted to noise, silence is a bold act. It's not weakness or surrender. It's the language of those who need no external validation. Silence reclaims your power, steps you out of traps, and lets time, truth, and karma finish the story you don't need to write. A composed man doesn't chase approval, beg for closure, or bow to chaos. He steps back, letting the universe do what it does best, restore balance. Next time someone lies, betrays, insults, provokes, or regrets, don't respond. Don't explain. Don't perform. Just observe and wait. Karma needs no assistance. Only your silence. If this message resonates, if you find truth in its orbit, don't just drift away. Join Think Stoic 101, where strength is silence, wisdom is sharp, and every word endures. Share this with someone who needs its light, or let your silence echo and spread its power across the cosmos.